to own our authenticity, who we are, and who we came to be. And we think about owning it, and it's really challenging. Even in our midlife, we're like, do people like me? Am I accepted? It's a human need is to be accepted and to be liked. And so sometimes it's hard to show up as authentic us because we're worried maybe they won't like us. Maybe we'll be too much. I always say, like, you just have to be you, because for some people, you're going to be too much. And for other people, you're not going to be enough. And then you're going to find your people, the people who love you, your raving fans. I love to use musicians as my muse here. And I think about musicians, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if you think about them, they are ultimately being who they came to be, right? They write the music that's in their heart, in their soul, in their, in their brain, everything that functions for them. So let me ask you, how many of you guys like country music? Shout and cheer, okay? Yeah? Favorite artists? Patsy Cline? Okay, love it. What about R&B hip hop? Yeah? Who's your fave? Beyonce, love it. Do I have any jazz lovers in the room? Yes, I grew up listening to jazz music. I absolutely love jazz. What about Taylor Swift? Do you guys like her? Okay, half and half, I always say, like, what did she do to you? For those of you who don't like her. Here's the thing. You're not going to be for everyone. You're just not. And these musicians, and especially if you read Taylor Swift about her journey, that self-acceptance of saying, I'm not going to be for everyone. I've been humiliated on national TV because I'm not for everyone. And going through that journey of self-acceptance, saying, but I'm writing the music that's in my heart, in my soul, and I will find my raving fans, which clearly she's had no problem doing, right? But that's what they do, and this is what you have to do. Know that not everyone's going to like you. You're not going to be for everyone, but you have to find your raving fans, those people who, pump you up, that buy your swag, that buy your record, that love you for you. You got to start showing up like your favorite musician, because you're not going to be for everyone. So I joke that I've had my own Taylor Swift moment in life. This is my book. I actually did write the book. Shane, who said I was just average and ordinary. I did write the book, and guess what? I've got a surprise. You guys are all going to get one at the end of today. I think you'll be proud of my design aesthetic on this book. It makes a very, very pretty coffee table book. So I write the book. Well, you put yourself out there, on Amazon and all the online stores, and you get lots of great reviews. I mean, it's always so fun to read the great review, but then you get a review like this. I was like, what does she say? This is nothing for me, not for me. Immediately put in the Goodwill pile. I was like, damn, I guess she didn't like the book. I mean, I even designed it to be a coffee table book. I'm like, okay, Goodwill, geez. So I gotta tell you, this hurt. 99 good reviews, you read one, and this is the one that's waking me up at night. I'm not thinking about the person who's like, this fundamentally changed my life. You helped me be who I came to be. I was up thinking about this all the time, and finally I was like, just take your own advice. Like, you're not gonna be for everyone. But then something pretty serendipitous happened. When this happened, I called my husband immediately. I'm like, oh my God, the bad Goodwill review I got? He's like, yes, I know the bad Goodwill review you got. I get this message on Instagram. This girl messages me, and she sends me a picture, and she said, this found me today. And I was like, oh, I love it. And she has my book. She's from Kansas City, and so she's saying, I think we might know some of the same people. And she said, okay, well, I'm going to read this book now on a day that I was losing my heart. And she said, I felt like this book found me. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Thank you so much for messaging me. Where did you find the book? I actually found it at Goodwill. I was like, get out. Okay, you guys, I mean, I was like, and she said that, she likes to go walk around in there, and she saw it felt meant for me. And then the second part was, I hope the location isn't disheartening. I was like, oh, you don't even know how much this makes me happy. Redemption, But it was my own Taylor Swift moment of like, gosh, don't get caught up in the one person who doesn't like you, the one person who didn't choose you to design their house or their firm. You're not gonna be for everyone. You gotta go find your raving fans. And I say it's always harder, it's easier said than done, because we have this thing in our world, it's called, I call it Instagram and fake book. okay? The highlight reels of the world, right? Where you guys show all the amazing end products, the end of it, but you don't show like when something went horribly wrong in the design process. Now, these are my dogs, Olive and Fog, and I say that if you don't show your pets in a presentation, it is socially irresponsible. John, you passed the test. Yes. When I saw his dogs, I was like, yes. And then you guys showed out dogs. So, but I put these two up here because they are very cute, aren't they? They are also very naughty, okay? I never actually put on Instagram when they ate a hole through the wall. We had to drywall the entire laundry room. The big dog ate cash from a kid who was staying the night, $100. His grandma gave him, I was like, Brody, why would you bring $100 cash over? He's like, I was just with my grandma and she gave me money. I was like, okay, well I guess we're gonna have to reimburse you for our dog eating all your money. But we see these highlight reels and then we compare ourselves, right? We compare ourselves to the perfection that we see on the internet. The perfect family, the perfect studios, the perfect design, the awards, the accolades, all of those things. And then we start comparing and we don't feel like we're enough. We feel small. I always tell, here's the thing, you didn't come to be them. Even the highlight reel of them, you did not come to be them. Why would you compare yourself to someone like that? You came to be you. You came to be you. And here's the secret to get into that positive part of your brain is replace comparison with admiration. When you start admiring someone, it ignites possibility. Like, wow, look at that. This is so amazing. When we compare, we ignite all kinds of self-doubt, insecurity, but admiring shifts to that front part of the brain. And when I've taken my own advice on this, I'm only human. I'll compare myself to someone online. I'll be like, oh gosh, why am I not this? Why am I not this? And then finally I'm like, I'm just gonna reach out to them and be like, I love what you're doing. And they've become some of my very best friends, some of my favorite colleagues in life. Replace comparison with admiration.